What's going on, guys? No Job Rob here. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I just wanted to talk about the somewhat paradoxical relationship that exists between time and money. And if you haven't heard this before, then it may come as a surprise to some of you to hear that when it comes to the difference between wealthy and unwealthy people, the fundamental difference lies in their attitudes as far as the values that they place on time and money, respectively. So it sounds counterintuitive to hear that poor people are poor because they value money too much, whereas rich people are rich because they value money less than other things like time, freedom, mobility, flexibility, and so forth. Now, when I talk about truly wealthy people, I'm not talking about people who may have a large income, but they spend it largely on material things. They overextend themselves on shiny objects, consumer debt, that sort of thing. I'm talking about people who have enough money where they don't need to worry about it and they don't have debt that they ever need to worry about. When asked what truly rich people spend their money on, a lot of people would say those types of things like I referenced, a huge house, a yacht, a nice car, all those things. What goes underappreciated is that what these people are buying is more time and more health with which to enjoy the time they do have. See, poor people allow money to rule their lives, whereas rich people see money as the tool that they can use to rule their own lives. So poor people are more than willing to sell their own time away, thinking that it's the only way that they're able to get by. And there's a famous quote that says people who work all their time at a job have no time left to make money. And that's because they have no leverage. They have no resources left to actually build wealth and create assets for themselves and build up their skill sets in areas that don't actively require them to continue devoting their time. I could be talking about higher ticket skills where it's not a direct exchange of time for money. It's more an exchange of time for value. This could take the form of real estate investing. It could be high ticket sales. But that was a very important distinction that I'm glad I was able to make early on, because I knew that even though I wasn't necessarily enthusiastic about anything in my life, the thing that I cared the most about was just having control over my time and having the freedom to use it the way that I wanted to. But I didn't really understand that there was a practical application for being able to do that before I started reading books when I was about 25, like Rich Dad Poor Dad, 4 Hour Work Week. And it was sort of like a confirmation bias for me because I always had a very different attitude than everyone around me. Everyone was very content to be on the treadmill, work your 40+ hours a week and be grateful that you're, the job that they say is just over broke is what it stands for. And I said, I'm going to bet on myself that there's going to be something that I'm able to find that allows me to be my own boss, to have freedom, to be in control of my own time and location. So when it came to disassociating myself from the time to money exchange and increasing the value that I was able to provide versus the time, one of the early forms that took on for me was selling on eBay, because when I got laid off from my corporate job, I was making about $20 an hour, which, to many of you may sound pretty good. It was about $40,000 a year. So for a young single man, that's okay, but it's not really giving myself a great chance to build wealth and freedom. But what I discovered by creating the value of providing an item that a person didn't have or have access to previously, maybe it was something that I acquired at a thrift sale or a yard sale, if I was able to provide that service of getting that item to the person that wanted it for a price that they wanted to pay, then say, for example, I would be selling items at a $20 profit margin for myself. In many cases, it was larger than that. And say it would take me about 10 minutes to do an entire listing. Then I could do 6 an hour, and that would be $120 an hour that I could potentially make. So a lot of people think that they're working really hard or they're working a lot and they think that it's getting them somewhere. But if you just look at something like Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule, chances are no matter what you're doing, at least 80% of the output that you're giving is not really getting you anywhere. It's only about 20% of what you're doing that's actually providing the results. So it's for that reason why you actually need to be seeking to work less in order to accomplish more. It's a process of stripping away all the things that aren't really giving you a return and focusing your efforts in on what is. So from there, I started to learn about even higher leverage things that I could do, like affiliate marketing and high ticket sales and different investments that I could make. So something that's an even better example is something like social media marketing, where if you're able to contact a business, say for example, there's a chiropractor and the average lifetime customer value of a chiropractic patient is about $2,000, $2,500. What so many people are doing now, because they understand this concept that I'm getting across to you, is they're saying, hey, I can use Facebook ads to acquire customers for someone like a chiropractor. I mean, it could be any industry, but if I'm able to go to a chiropractor and say, I can get you even just 4 customers a month, I can generate $10,000 for you, then it could be easily said that I've created a value that's worth at least a couple $1,000s for myself, and it's very sensible. And now you get someone to agree to this prospect, and now you've just created a $2,000 a month income stream for yourself for something that takes very little time. It's not incredibly time time consuming to set up a Facebook ad. So you acquire this high ticket skill and this creation of value, and then you can repeat that process, and now say you have 5 clients paying you $2,000 a month, now you have a 6-figure income for, again, something that might take you a matter of a couple hours a month. So once you learn about this, it's almost impossible to go back. And honestly, I'm kind of wrestling with it right now because while I did acquire this knowledge, and I have been thinking more like a wealthy person, so to speak, I still haven't corrected all of my behaviors in order to actually act like a wealthy person. So after having experienced not only eBay, but also something like affiliate marketing where I've created a piece of content and I get paid later on without having to put any further work into it. I've made videos where, weeks later, I would just be in my leisure time and I get a notification on my phone that I just made like a $50 sale out of nowhere. And I've also had instances where I talked about in my last video where I set up a Facebook page for my medical commodities business, and 4 months later, out of nowhere, I get a customer who brings me $450 in revenue. It's really tough to go back once you've experienced that, but unfortunately, due to personal shortcomings that I still have, something that I felt that I needed to do was get a part-time job, so I actually took on a work-from-home position. But even though it's a great improvement over past jobs that I've had, I mean, I can just do it from my home in wearing whatever I want, no commute, so on. I'm still required to give myself to a boss, to someone else, rather than use it towards building something greater in the future. So it's been even more of a struggle for me to accept than it has been previously. And it's creating a pain point. It's creating a motivator for me to focus on actually enacting a lot of the things that I talked about in this video. Getting passive income sources, getting leverage, getting high ticket skills, and creating more value. Because a lot of people get stuck in this loop of just endlessly learning new things, and that's basically what happened to me. And it wasn't uncomfortable enough for me to be spurred to take the level of action that I needed to. But to someone like me with the mindset that I have, it's very uncomfortable for me to have these type of obligations. But I still feel that I was correct in just trying to get my mind right and start to think like a successful person. That way my attitudes and belief patterns would be more in line with success, and therefore my actions would follow suit, and therefore my results. So yeah, guys, again, I mean, I'm not trying to be as judgmental as this is probably going to sound, but I'm sure many of you have done this that are watching the video, and you're trying to save like 5 cents a gallon on gas, so you'll drive to a gas station that's further away, or maybe you'll spend an extra 10 or 15 minutes finding a different ATM so you have to pay less of an ATM fee. Maybe you've spent hours comparing different prices for the same thing that you were thinking about buying online, trying to find the best deal and save a couple of bucks. People that do online surveys telling themselves that they're making extra money in their free time, but really what they're saying is that I accept placing a value of a few cents an hour on my time. I saw a graphic that I thought was interesting. It was basically illustrating how trying to save a little bit of money up front costs you so much in the back end. Not only can it cost you a chance to use the commodity of time to create a better situation for yourself and take away from your ability to enjoy it on your own terms, but the main example that it was giving was from a medical standpoint. If you're trying to save a little bit of money now on getting a checkup or getting a dental cleaning, then when a problem surfaces, that little bit of money that you saved gets charged insane amounts of interest, and now it's a multi-$1,000 expense. So again, guys, once you begin to understand these concepts, you've taken the first steps towards creating a life that you're in control of. Get off the hamster wheel, start thinking about ways that you can increase the value that you're able to provide in order to be more in control of your time and have more leverage that you can use it for. Stop thinking that a reflection of your value is the things that you're able to spend your money on, and stop selling away quantities of your time which you can never get back for a little bit of money, which you can always make back. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about this in the comments. Again, some books that are really fantastic for this are Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and I think The Millionaire Next Door could be a great one for you guys to check out, just to, again, just reshape your concept of what a wealthy person is. I mean, I know we see all these celebrities and their yachts and their mansions, but a lot of the time, because of these mindsets and this materialism, these people aren't truly wealthy and truly free. And I'm sure many of you can agree with me that the true things that you should be striving after are, again, just to use your time the way that you want on the things that you're passionate about, spending it with your family, and being able to go anywhere you want to experience new things and see the world. So if that's what you guys are about too, I definitely encourage you to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I upload regularly on the channel with different ways to help you guys get more time, location, and financial freedom. So thank you guys for checking out the video, and have a great day, everybody.